Girl.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
What's going on, you all? Cassie has just filed a lawsuit against Diddy, and the things that are being talked about in this lawsuit, whoo, it is a lot. Let me first and foremost say I believe Cassie. I believe Cassie. Her name is Cassandra Ventura, and this is a federal lawsuit. Like, this is a federal lawsuit, and we need to talk about some of the stuff because I'm seeing some misinformation because there is a conversation about her suing for $30 million. She is not suing for $30 million. Diddy's lawyer gave a statement and said that Cassie was trying to get somewhere up to $30 million for her silence. So this is the statement that he gave People magazine. Mr. Combs vehemently denies the offensive and outrageous allegations. Ms. Ventura's demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Ms. Ventura has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation and seeking a payday. Keyword payday, because in a lot of people's mind, unfortunately, victims are only after money. And let me say this, I don't care if Cassie was suing for $2 billion. She has every right to do that. Considering the things that she has experienced, the things she has experienced at a young age, I don't care. I don't know what it is with folks feeling like, oh, well, she just after money. And what was Diddy after? A young girl who was 19 while he was in his late 30s. Like, he was someone who was working in the industry as far as music. She was a up-and-coming artist, a star who is 19 years old. Even that, like, big age gap, power dynamics of that, but also being as powerful as he is in the industry and her being an artist, do you think she would have how can she say no? How can she say no? She's 19 years old. The relationship was disgusting to begin with. It was disgusting to begin with. So I don't care about Cassie if she was asking for $1 billion, if she was writing about it. Because at the end of the day, Diddy could have just left this alone, but he chose not to. And people have been talking about Diddy, how he moves with all of this stuff. Like, Carisha's literally getting ate up right now on Twitter, Young Miami, for tweeting back in 2022, if I wanted you to eat me out, Diddy would have you on your knees. Joking about the power that Diddy has in the industry and that you would do what Diddy says because Diddy got it like that. The joke ain't aging well. It was disgusting then, it's disgusting now. We're joking about a person having power and stuff and doing harm. And we're acting shocked that folks have now come forward and said, yeah, girl, I was harmed. Like, it's out of control. In response, Ventura's attorney, Douglas Wigger, said in a statement, Mr. Combs offered Ms. Ventura's 8 figures to silence her and prevent the filing of this lawsuit. She rejected his efforts and decided to give a voice to all women who suffer in silence. Ms. Ventura should be applauded for her bravery. Now, this gets me because we're seeing articles and stuff being written and saying that she is suing for $30 million. She's not suing for $30 million. They said that she was trying to get, Diddy's attorney says she was trying to get $30 million. And Cassie's attorney is saying, hey, they said they will give us, they offered us 8 figures. They offered us $1 million. We don't know how much, but they offered us a lot of money. And Cassie said no. And she has every right to say no. Now, you all know the history. For those who do not know, Cassie was introduced to Diddy back in 2005. And Cassie was 19 at the time and Diddy was 37. Now, the Me and You song, which is one of my favorite songs, you know, was produced by Bad Boy. Like, Cassie signed to Bad Boy. Like, she signed to Bad Boy. And you're signing an artist who is under your control and also very young. 19 years old, and you're also in a relationship with Kim Porter at the time. The same dark-skinned woman who you keep parading everywhere and posting her everywhere now that she's deceased, and you keep posting her and saying how you missed her while you were treating her like this. Like, while you were treating, there's been so many comments about Diddy and how he treated Kim Porter, like that. That's why I really don't understand when folks try to say that, well, Diddy do like black women. No, he does not like black women. He does not. Just because he done had a couple of babies with some black women stuff, Diddy does not really. He treats them like objects. And Cassie was an object for him. It's so many. How many stories have we heard of music executives signing artists or signing folks who are way younger than them and ended up being in a relationship with them? Like, what's going on? Like, even Tony Montella, whatever his name is, with Mariah Carey, all this stuff. Like, these men are disgusting. So in the lawsuit filing, Cassie is saying that Diddy introduced her to drugs and he put his hands on her a couple of times and told her to take pain killers to help with the pain, and that she had an incident where he came in her home unannounced and he forced himself on her, and they had X parties with the S, and Diddy would watch her engage in activities with men. She also says that there were parties and stuff, and that other men were invited, and Diddy would watch Cassie engage in these things with these men. Now, she says that she tried her best to leave Diddy. For the folks who saying, oh, why she didn't leave? Because Diddy is a powerful person. Even when you try to leave an abuser, like, they do things to manipulate situations and talk about harming you. So apparently Cassie was, rumored to be dating Kid Cudi or whatever, and Diddy found out about it. And he allegedly threatened to have Kid Cudi's car blown up. Now, Kid Cudi has not denied any of this stuff. He said that his car has caught on fire in 2012. He said he went outside, his car was on fire. He didn't say that Diddy blew it up or whatever, but his car was on fire. Diddy said these things, and now Kid Cudi's car is on fire. Like, what's going on? By 2017, Ventura became determined to leave Combs, the complaint says, and met him for dinner in 2018 in Malibu to discuss ending things for good. After dinner, he allegedly forced his way into her home and R-worded her. Now, this is disgusting. Now, Cassie's statement, I felt, was very powerful. She said, after years in silence and darkness, I am finally ready to tell my story and to speak up on behalf of myself and for the benefit of other women who face violence and abuse in their relationships. With the expiration of New York's Adult Survivors Act fast approaching, it became clear that this was an opportunity to speak up about the trauma I have experienced and that I will be recovering from for the rest of my life. I think it's important that we hear that. I will be recovering from for the rest of my life. She will have to recover from this for the rest of her life, which means that she will never fully heal. This will always live with her. She will always be recovering from it. For those who do not know what the Adult Survivors Act is, a New York legislation enacted in May 2022, which amends state law to allow alleged victims of sexual offense for which the state of limitations has lapsed to file civil suits for a 1-year period from November the 24th, 2022 to November the 24th, 2023. So we're like less than a week before that, like a week now. And she's putting it out. She is accusing him of abuse, rape, and sex trafficking. Like, this is a lot. This is a lot going on. And right now, you don't see any celebrities coming out like saying, no, that ain't happening. Like, we will see, oh, child, I don't believe that. The reason why we're not seeing celebrities come out saying anything is because it's been rumors for years. Same thing with R. Kelly. Same thing. It's been rumors and jokes and stuff for years. It's like, oh, somebody finally had the gall to be able to just do it. That's why ain't nobody doing it, because folks do not have faith in Diddy. Like, you're not gonna see too many folks say, oh, that is not the Diddy I know. Because it is for a lot of folks. That's the Diddy they know. And Cassie is also saying that Diddy had people who he hired to manage her. To not manage her career, but manage her to be his quote unquote plaything or whatever. Like, keep dibs on her, make sure she's doing stuff. There's even a part where there's a mention of an MRI and that she had suffered from memory loss from being abused. And this is not cool. I've just not been a fan of Diddy. That's why I've just been disgusted every time I see him on the TV and him talking about Kim Porter. I'm just like, girl, leave her alone. For the last couple of years, I've just not have been interested. Since like learning and seeing some of these things, I've just not been a fan of Diddy. And that's why I'm tired of seeing him post pictures and also trying to remember Kim Porter, the love of his life, and all the other stuff while you were out here, you know, doing these things to her. And now you're trying to use her death as a way to absolve you and make you a human being. Like, oh, I am healing. I lost the love of my life. I would never do things like this because this is somebody who I always cared about. And it's like, no, like you were involved with Cassie around the time that you and Kim Porter were together. Like you were doing whatever you wanted to do. You were doing whatever you wanted to do. And now, like I said, you have celebrities out here who giving interviews and talk about Diddy and stuff. Like the interviews they're everywhere. Like there are tweets. There's tweets from folks talking about Kid Cudi's car getting caught on fire. There's tweets of folks saying child Diddy didn't set Kid Cudi's car on fire. And the folks who saying like, yeah, girl, I got folks who, you know, speak to Kid Cudi and all these things. Like, you know, these folks have been saying stuff about Diddy for years, for the longest. It's been a thing. Like people have been joking and saying, oh, child, when the Diddy documentary dropped, it's gonna be a mess. There was a guy who did a video long time ago calling out Diddy and said, girl, everybody who's Diddy has ever been involved with have like, they not alive, they not doing well, like they strung out, like it's just bad for them. And come to find out, that was Diddy's response. Like Diddy's response was to stop the bitch assness. Like remember, I forgot about that. That came because Diddy was dealing with that. Like Diddy, it's not shocking that, you know, he didn't change his name from Doc Love and all the other stuff and trying to do this love. Like I'm just all about love. Sure. And if you pay attention, because someone made a really good analysis. They brought up the song that Usher did with Nicki Minaj, Little Freak. In the song, Nicki says, plotting on how I can take Cassie away from Diddy. Because it's known that Cassie is, you know, Diddy's plaything. Not saying that Nicki Minaj knew or whatever, but, you know, not quote unquote thinking around that time, but they knew in so many ways that this person belongs to Diddy, and not the type of way where we belong to quote unquote each other and this love is like, girl, no, that's Diddy's plaything. Like that's how I'm getting it. Like if you pay attention to, like it's written everywhere. The signs are everywhere. The signs are everywhere. And I appreciate that person for pointing it out, because that is, you know, that is a part of the quote, like that's the part of the culture. Like, you know, there are things that folks have rapped about who have like put in songs and stuff, and now they have a meaning. Now it's like, oh wow. And again, not saying that Nicki Minaj knew about it, she was joking about it, but it was just like people knew some of it. Like they were hearing rumors and stuff, and knew that this relationship was kind of weird. Like that this is giving ownership, like Diddy owns her, like that type of situation. And it does give a whole new meaning. Like it gives a whole new meaning. This is a lot. I think this is going to be something that's going to go on for the next couple of years. I don't think we're going to get a trial anytime soon. I do think that Cassie has a good attorney, and I think this is the way they moved was very particular because the New York Times sent out a breaking news alert. Like, I have the New York Times on my phone. Like, I read the New York Times. They send these alerts out for, this was a breaking news story, and New York Times doesn't really do that type of situation unless it's a situation where it's something political, heavy political, or some charges or something being filed or something. But this, a lawsuit, because Diddy has not been charged with anything, even though some person who worked for NYPD said that, oh, there's like investigation over Diddy. There is no investigation that we know of. The New York Police Department said, girl, we ain't said nothing like that. We don't have any open investigation. And they're not gonna release a statement saying that. That's not how things go. Like, they're not gonna say, hey, yeah, we also investigate. The investigation is still going. Why would we now say to the public that, oh, girl, we investigated? They're not gonna tell you they're investigating. They're not gonna release a statement and saying that they're investigating in a situation like this because the investigation is not done. They don't wanna say that until like the charges and stuff are being filed because they don't wanna taint anything. They don't wanna do all of that. Yes. It is also interesting seeing how black organizations, media outlets are moving with this because they are not reporting this. BET, as of right now, it's been 24 hours. There's no story on BET about this at all. There's no story about this. A black artist who is like, was in a relationship involved with a music mogul who y'all have paraded on y'all site and talked about all the good they have done, has been accused of these things. Y'all need to be writing it up. Other media outlets have not been doing the due diligence and talking about it. Even who is the Breakfast Club put the $30 million lawsuit. There is not a dollar sign on this lawsuit, not saying that Cassie doesn't deserve money, but there is not a dollar amount on the lawsuit. But when you put stuff like that out, you can kind of frame it in a way, oh, she's just trying to make some money, which is why the attorney for Diddy had no problem saying, hey, like, this is extortion, this is giving that, like, da-da-da, like, she's trying to get some money. Like, this is blackmail. So now it puts in the eyes like, oh, she's trying to get some money from him. This is not about that. But survivors, victims, have every right to sue for money. Have every right to do it. I'm so sorry. If folks are worried about being sued for harming folks, maybe not do the harm. But this supports folks who do not want to believe in victims anyway, so it just gives them even more because it's folks who don't want to believe in this, no matter how much stuff we get. Like, how much new information comes out, detailed stuff, pictures, images, it's not going to be enough. It's not, because they just do not want to believe victims and they just do not want to believe women, period. Yeah, that's all I got for this video. I will be talking about it more, but I don't think we're gonna get really anything until probably like the beginning of the year. But how they're moving with this, like how it's been put out, like that this was crafted, like they had articles ready already, like, and the media outlets was on it like immediately. And somebody's moving it in a particular type of way, because they're like, girl, if we gonna strike, we gotta strike hard, because this is some serious stuff, and it really makes it hard for Diddy to like fight back. Like, now this is me jumping into my other like theorizing, but this is bad because now this is happening around the weekend, which means the conversation is gonna be talked about into the next week. And then what's next week? Thanksgiving. Everybody's gonna be around family. It's gonna be talked about even more. We're getting into the holidays. I think Diddy has 20-30 days to respond.
Now, obviously, I recorded this before the settlement was reached, but everything that I'm saying is the reason why Diddy went ahead and settled. And I will be talking about that in another video.
What's going on right now? We're in the holidays, the court's gonna be closed, the attorney's doing this and that, they're doing all the other stuff. So this is gonna go into the new year, which means we're gonna be talking about this the beginning of the new year. We can't even start fresh because it's going to be talked about in the beginning of the year. This is not looking good for Diddy at all. It's just not. Even from a PR perspective, it looks like bad. All the things that are going wrong are going wrong. Like even how it was pushed out, everything. Like they have caught Diddy with his pants. I'm sure he knew that it was coming, but they put this out. I mean, I honestly don't blame them. I honestly don't blame them going against somebody as big as Diddy. And the fact that he was offering like 8 figures says something is there. Something is there, period. And I don't blame Cassie. So, you know, I believe Cassie. That's all I got. That's all I got. Let me know what y'all thought. What y'all thoughts on all the things. Let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.